Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Last year is done, new story getting told. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. They say he's uncoachable, can't get right. AJ in New England, now that deal is done. Lemons got the green light, pick that number one. Benny in the coordinator, put your fears to rest. Patello playing checkers, why this dude is playing chess. AJ finally traded and the hype train's broke. Vrabel's back to coaching and Buzzini's catching smoke. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Ain't no time for fakers cause your boy is bleeding green. Source is leaking stories but you know it's all cap. Coach Marcus on the mic and he's shooting all facts. Search trending topics, information moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk.
Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday to you, man. Nice and early, folks waking up. Or folks done already got started. Rainy day here in South Jersey. You know that rain help you sleep well. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Art, first out the limo. What's going on, my guy? Tiffany, soon after. What's going on, Tiff? Good morning. Oh, we got a lot of stuff going on, man. It has been crazy, man. The news cycle has just been kicking, bro. The NFL is still pumping out news. World Cup pumping out news. WNBA pumping out news. The Phillies are pumping out news. Man, the Sixers are pumping out news. New ownership, new leadership, new GM, new picks. A lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff, man. But you know what, Tiff? I'll set it up quickly. Sometimes when I go on the StreamYard and set it up, you can set up times, and a lot of times the times will be default. That little, it's like a little drop down list where you pick the times that you want, and sometimes it's defaulted, and it might be incorrect. I've actually done that before, so sorry about that. So yeah, just drinking my coffee, chock full of nuts. You want to sponsor? Holla at your boy. For those of you who don't know Chock full of nuts, look up Jackie Robinson. Learn a little history. So yeah, you know what? I've been getting such good feedback from this time slot, like 9, 10. I didn't want to wait till 10 because I got stuff to do. Got to get up. My wife's going to sleep in late because she got to work today. So I'll probably get up, make her breakfast and stuff like that. But she's still in the bed, so I got time. So, but I've been finding like on the weekends, this 9 and 10 a.m. slot the feedback has been really, really good. So, and I'm really trying to focus on figuring out ways, jumping into algorithms, doing different things behind the scenes to grow the channel. So I'm really, really taking a look at when the best times, all of that and all I'm doing is just feeding off the analytics. So I'm just trying to make it grow, what I'm really trying to do is get this, trying to find a good way to get the live audience, have a bigger live audience, live streaming audience. So that's the goal. So we're doing it. And I tell you what, I did a WNBA video yesterday. Basically, it was a video that I released in 2025 about some of the stuff that's going on in the WNBA. I talked about it last year, and the same problems kind of re-upping. And I released that video, and I was like, damn. Like, my background studio was fire. Like, that's the one I had with the looked like I made it be like a 3D set. I had people walking in the background. I had a couple of logos on my back window. Like, that was fire, man. And I was like, you know what? I might have to bring that back. I might have to bring that back for the new season, for the new football season. I'm gonna have to come up with something because I don't get me wrong, I like this background because it's simple, gets the point across, and it's easy. But I ain't gonna lie, I love them animated backgrounds, so I'm about to get back to that. Definitely gonna get back to that. But looking around last night, this morning, and This excites me because I know what it means. I know what it means. It means that we are that close to the NFL season getting started again because everybody and their mama is coming out with rankings. Everybody and their mama is coming out with rankings. Happens every year. I talk about it every year. The furor will ramp up the closer we get to preseason and we actually get into preseason. And basically what it is everybody jumping the gun on stuff. And again, we do it every year. And I crash out about it every year because it's funny to me how people get so upset. And it's like, for what? For what? Thank you, Tiff. I'm gonna have to redesign that and do some new stuff. I want to do some stuff like with this type of setup, but just have it animated. Put some windows in. I got some ideas. I'm working on stuff, and I can't wait. I cannot wait for you guys to see. I can't wait for you guys to see some of the stuff I'm gonna do with this drone footage. I'm gonna put out a video. I actually went to a local playground behind my neighborhood, and flew the drone around the neighborhood, around the playground. Like a children's playground. It's brand new. So I just kind of walked through the different, the little jungle gyms and all that kind of stuff. I just walked through it to see if the drone would follow me. And it did a phenomenal job. So I can't wait to start creating content with the drone, doing some different things. Y'all know me, I'm stepping my game up, man. Got to step my game up. You know how I do. So I'm gonna be working on that today, just to put it out, just to show you what I did. And then going forward, I got some really good ideas on the content. This is all produced content. I'm still gonna be doing the live stuff, but I'm trying to get more creative in the produced content that I do, because I want to put out produced content at least twice a week. I'm still gonna go live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but I want to be able to put out like a produced piece like every Friday. So that's what I'm trying to do. What's up, Ant? We do it every year in the rankings, yeah, man. That's all that matters. And you know what? Let me put that back up there, man. I'm glad you said that, Ant. I'm glad you said that, bro, because I saw Hugh Douglas. They were down at the shore, I think, and what's his name? Damn it! Oh, I'm getting old. What's my man's name? What's the quarterback? The ESPN dude. Why am I blanking on his name? This is frustrating. What's my man's name? What's the quarterback that was down there this weekend? Thank you, Dan Orlovsky. CTE is a bitch. And he was talking to him like, where does he rank Jalen Hurts? And to me, in my opinion, and I've heard Dan Orlovsky explain it this way before, so it's not the first time he said it, but I like Dan Orlovsky because he's somewhat consistent. But he said the facts, how did he say it? The facts don't match up the hype, or however he said it. It was like everybody's looking for one thing. He doesn't have the best of everything, but yet he still wins. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And it's like, at this point, I don't care where you rank him. I don't. You can rank him 32. You can rank him number one. Wherever you put him, somebody going to be pissed off. He doesn't deserve to be number one. He doesn't deserve to be 32. But in my opinion, I think he's top 10. But let me add this addendum to that. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the playoffs. That's what matters. And everybody just wants to gloss all over that. And that's the thing that it's like, and I'm saying this as somebody that played, who I think is one of the best to do it, and that's Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was my quarterback. So I'm biased on RC. right? But I saw what happened while he was in Philadelphia. The 1 year he was going to do some things. That was in '93. We had some things going. We had Herschel and we had the defense. We still had a look that gangrene defense was still there with Seth and Willie T and EA and Andre and Wes Hop and all of them. We still had a piece of that defense. That defense was still nasty. Offense was getting it. We had Calvin Williams, Victor Bailey, Fred Barnett, Herschel Walker, James Joseph, myself, Vaughn Hebron, Mo Williams, Mark Bavaro was on the Eagles that year. So we still we started 6-1, I believe, and then I think it was either week 7 or week 8 versus the Jets. That's when Randall tore his knee. And that was the famous game where Eric Allen caught that interception and ran, damn near touched every part of the turf up in New York before he had a pick six. And as he was running in the end zone, Randall comes out of the tunnel on crutches. Look it up. That's a famous scene. And I remember I didn't travel that week, but I just remember the feedback and the response that Monday. Or that it would have been Wednesday. It would have been Wednesday. That Wednesday, okay, yeah, that Wednesday when we got back in the locker room. So, like when I tell you everybody hugged Eric Allen, I just remember that. Like everybody wanted a piece of him, wanted to dap him up, just like to acknowledge what he just did. But I'm saying that to say, Randall got hurt. And Bubby Brister had not been on the team very long. So Bubby struggled. He didn't know the offense. He wasn't there long enough to know the offense. And it was good until it wasn't. I believe we ended up that year 8-8. I think that's what it was. But I'm saying all that to say, as good as somebody is, or we want them to be, or whatever their potential limit is, you got to stay on the field. And then that year, Randall didn't stay on the field. And then you fast forward a couple years later when he ends up in Minnesota, and you see what he did with Minnesota and Chris Carter, because he had played with him and Chris was friends, and Randy Moss that rookie year. Randall should have won the Super Bowl that year. If Randall wins the Super Bowl that year, he's in the Hall of Fame. Stupid kickers. But my point is that even somebody that was ridiculously as talented as Randall Cunningham was, he struggled. You got to have all of the pieces together. And then when you have all of the pieces together, you still got to do what you're supposed to do at the highest of levels. And that's what Jalen Hurts has done. Yes, Eric Allen finally got in the Hall of Fame. And don't get it twisted, my man Seth Jordan deserves to be in there too. 20-20. Seth Jordan is one of the few linebackers in the 2020 club. Holla at me. 20 sacks, 20 picks. What you want? So it's funny what people look for. And it gets into this culture that we are in where everybody wants the optics. That's it. Everybody wants to look good. Everybody it has permeated everything that we do. I'm so glad I'm old school. It's not even funny. Because I was brought up different. My perspective is different. My opinions are different. How I go about things are different. It's these days, it's like people are scared of work. People are scared of challenges. People are scared of conversations. And this is a prime example. Everybody wants to rank stuff right now. They haven't seen a lick of actual play. Whatever happened last year does not matter. Ask the 2025 Eagles. What they did in 2024 doesn't matter in 2025. It's a brand new year. You got brand new people and brand new things are happening. So it doesn't matter. Who had on their bingo card that the freaking Seahawks was going to win the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold? Who had on their bingo card that Sam Darnold was going to lead a team to the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? So you just never know. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of relax, let it play out, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Let it play out. And then what happens is everybody gets exposed. You find out who actually pays attention, who actually does their homework, who actually takes notes. Or you realize they're just somebody that's talking about what they saw on the ESPN trailer. They didn't watch it. They didn't watch it. Let me be honest with you. That's one thing that I realize now with my coverage of the WNBA, because Caitlin Clark is such a hot topic. Angel Reese is such a hot topic. Everybody is chiming in with something to say, and it is very easy to tell who watches and who doesn't. It's the same thing in the NFL. Everybody wants to have something to say so they can say they had something to say. Nobody's doing homework anymore. I take that back. A lot of people aren't doing homework. And some of those people are the ones with the big influences on social media and stuff like that. And then you see people getting involved. And I saw the video. What's my man's name? I've actually been on this show before. He had the dude. I'm sure you guys have seen it. He had the dude on his podcast talking about the situation with Hassan Reddick and AJ Brown. And then the first thing I'm thinking of, who was this dude and why does he have this information? And why is his information, is it any different than what somebody else has said? And if it's not, why should I believe him? Like what's his, how do you vet that? Just because he sound like he from the crib and he might know some people that know, how do you vet that information? That's the thing. Because the one thing we have now, the one good thing, here's the good and bad about social media. The good thing is everybody got receipts. Immediately. You post something, there's a receipt of it. And it's pretty easy to find them receipts. And if you're right, wrong, or whatever, it's very easy to find out. It's easy to find out if you're lying, it's easy to get down to the bottom line. The bad thing about social media is everybody got something to say and everybody can hear it. That's the bad thing. And the way we as a society is now is, again, nobody wants to do homework. Nobody wants to vet the information. They only want to be first or right. They don't want to vet the information. And because of that, prime example. And shout out to Herm Edwards. I do not know Coach Herm Edwards. All I know is he is the man that said, don't press send. That phrase, that comment, that quote has reverberated for years, for decades now. Don't press send. And there was a post that came out yesterday, and I'm sure you guys saw it. Let me put this up because I caught myself. I saw a post that said the fridge had passed away. William Refrigerator Perry had passed away. And then I was like, hold on. So I got online, searched Refrigerator Perry, searched Chicago Bears, searched. I didn't see anything. And the reason why I was about to jump on that was because the fridge was my teammate. The fridge, we had signed the fridge in 93. So, and remember, to me, the fridge was just as big as Randall was, because I remember that year that they went to the Super Bowl, I believe the 85 Bears, and the fridge was a big part of that. The fridge was bigger than life. The fridge he was Michael Jordan big at that particular time. Somebody his size was dunking a basketball and as athletic as he was, all of that type of stuff. Fridge was everywhere. The Super Bowl shuffle, all of that type of stuff. Like, people today don't really understand how big the fridge was. So when I saw this, immediately I'm like, oh man, another one of our brothers gone. So I went on this thing and I was like, pause. Let me make sure that this is true. Or at the very least, how did he pass away? How did he There's some things that I want to find out. And the more I looked at it, I was like, he ain't gone. And I realized it was some BS. So that's why I made this post, the alert symbol. Because I was like, that would have been the third person that I played with, that passed away. And I was like, wait a minute, let me make sure this is, and that wasn't the case. And you just got to dig a little deeper. But why would somebody put this out? Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody put that information out there? For what? I don't understand the purpose of it. And how many people jumped on that story? This dude, Hurricane Henry or whatever, my childhood is officially gone. Didn't do the homework. And it's a shame. But that's my point. The people that do the homework, the people that research and vet information, we are the minority now. And you can't do that. And it's the same thing with these damn rankings. How the hell are you going to rank somebody? That's what they call it, the way too early rankings, the way too early NFL rankings. And I'm like, then why are you doing it? The reason why they doing it is because you always gonna get somebody riled up about how you gonna rank him over there. He did this, that. You got to put him above that, and you got to put this team down lower. And it doesn't matter. But everybody want to argue about something. Yeah, Tiffany, I agree with that. Fantasy football and the way people bet now and all of that type of stuff. Yeah, it got their brains fried. You are absolutely correct. They will they will kill anybody off for like 80 likes. Yeah. I mean, and it happens in like again in some of my WNBA coverage. I don't know if you guys follow WNBA, but all of the stuff going on with Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas and all of that kind of stuff. And I see a post that says, why can't we just stop talking about Caitlin Clark and worry about everybody else and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, the fact that you even said that proves the point. And the fact that you had like 316,000 likes on that particular post proves the point. You could have put that same post out there and not mentioned her name, and it would have had the same effect. But if you getting 316,000 likes on that post, if you don't put her name in there, that goes down to maybe 5,000. You got 310,000 less. So it is what it is. And just understand it, acknowledge it, and keep moving. It's almost like when people say, I always laugh at this. When I see something on social media, something, or even like people on YouTube making videos like this, and they start the video out like, I wasn't going to say this. I was not going to say this. I'm like, well, what you doing then? Why are you saying it? Don't waterboard me for 30 seconds telling me why you shouldn't make this video, or why you weren't going to make this video making the video. That makes no sense. That's something that I tell my grandkids all the time. Like my grandson will come over and I'm like, what's going on, man? You good? Blah, 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 blah. And he'll say something like, man, to be honest, Pop. And I'm like, why you got to be honest with me? Does that mean you've been lying the whole time? I say that to people all the time. Well, to be honest, like, no, you ain't got to do that. Because if you say, to be honest, that means you've been lying to me the whole time. Don't do that. Just say what you got to say. They're trying to put the exclamation in front of the comment. Well, wait a minute. Like, no. And that's just how people are, man. Views equals news, man. Views equals news. And hey, what did I tell y'all? Views equals news. What did I tell y'all about Diana Rossini? What did I tell you about 2 weeks ago? And I said, there's another big thing coming with Diana Rossini. The story ain't over. It's just died down. And then lo and behold, it gets released that in a couple months, she's going to do her thing on whatever channel. and she gonna tell her side of the story. And I said it. I said, I hope she light their ass up. I hope she light their ass up. Because the problem now is that what did what did the New York Times know, and what did they allow her to do? Because if you're complicit with it, if you knew what was going on, and it was not a good look for the league, and you let it happen. But they doing all of this stuff. They just gonna get clicks and likes. They're not gonna really do anything. They're not gonna really do anything. Mike Vrabel, they real good with forgetting stuff with the guys with the quickness. They're gonna continue to drag her through the mud, and it'll be about a year or two. And then she'll pop back up on the podcast or something like that. And then she'll just have to deal with the constant reminders and all of the outside jokes, because this is what's going to happen when she does eventually get back on the air, and she will, through it, like I said, a podcast or whatever. Because let's be honest, the podcasts are better than ESPN and terrestrial television. Podcasts give you more information, better. You ain't got to worry about censorship. If you want to cuss, you can cuss. If you want to come out in a G-string bikini, you can do that too. It's up to you. So she gonna be fine. But they still, and I said this before, I always find it funny because I understand the double standard, and I think about stuff like that because I'm somebody with two sisters. I got a twin sister and an older sister, and I know a lot of shit that they had to deal with when we came up. Me and my twin sister grew up in the 80s. We were born in 70, but we grew up in the 80s, from 10 years old to 20 years old. From 80 to 90. That was a very interesting stuff. Everything was good, but you don't realize until you're older some of the shit that we dealt with, and some of the backhand compliments and the isms and the ists that we weren't aware of. Till you were older, you're like, well, my sister told me not too long ago, my big sister, because my big sister was in high school, and this is when we lived in St. Louis, and we got on the conversation, and she was like, you don't remember when this happened? And I was like, no. My sister told me one time, we were little. This is like when we were like 8, 9 years old. And my sister was playing basketball. My big sister was on the basketball team, but there was no girls basketball team. So she had to play on the guys team. And she was a black girl. And she told me about a game that she went to that, like, they wanted to boycott the game, and they were beating on the bus and stuff like that. She had to call my dad to come get her. Like, I was like, when did this happen? Never told us. Never told us. Or like, and I'm saying that to say, there's so many things that go on now that you don't realize behind the scenes and stuff like that. So control the stuff that you can control, man. And stop with the nonsense. And we get in this thing of, and again, let me acknowledge that I know how the sausage is made. I know you just said it. Views is news, so it is what it is. But it just, at this point, it's just annoying. What you say? A bag of popcorn. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's funny. Yes, it does have the big boys. It's going to be some names involved. Why you think, to that point, Tiffany, why do you think that whole investigation with Daniel Snyder went down the drain? Remember how that happened? The NFL hired an outside investigator. She spent 6 weeks digging into this, finding the information. And then when she wrote her report, the NFL took it and didn't do anything with it. It was like they paid her and wasted her time. And they didn't do anything with the information that she gathered. Nothing. Because Daniel Snyder was the owner. Gruden was the scapegoat, and they wanted to keep everything how it was. And that's exactly what happened, because the owners didn't like Daniel Snyder anyways. That was a way for them to force him out of ownership of the Redskins. That's what it come down to, power, a power move. So somebody had to be sacrificed, and unfortunately, it was John Gruden. He was the closest to the flyer. Yeah, Tibbs, a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. Um, like from 10 to 20 is the in my opinion, when you're 10 years old, things start happening. For boys, when you 10 years old, do you start liking girls? Do you know, that sort of thing. The puberty hits and everybody has a different level or it happens different, but it's usually in that range and you start seeing things and you are exposed to things now. But these kids these days, there's no filter, there's nothing. There's nothing. My twin is a teacher. So I hear the horror stories. So Diana got your review. I'm gonna watch it too. I'm like, hey, I hope she light their ass up, and I hope it's another problem with Mike Vrabel. But guess what? They're gonna rally around Mike Vrabel. You already know they are. They are already preparing for it. They are already preparing for it. So, and let me be honest with you, there's only one thing that could happen that would be like throwing a grenade, putting a live grenade in Vrabel's pocket. And that would be if she came out and announced that that kid is his or something like that. That's the only thing. Everything else, it's gonna get hot for a minute and they're gonna brush it away. They're gonna brush it away. Don't be surprised if it comes out like July 3rd or July 5th or something like that, right before 4th of July. They're gonna try to put it at a point in the news cycle where everybody's going on vacation. Watch. That's how the news does. If they want to bury something, when do you put it? You put it on Friday, July 3rd, or however the date falls, whatever that weekend is before the 4th. That's where they're gonna put it because ain't nobody watching TV. Everybody down at the shore watching fireworks at the cookouts, all of that type of stuff. So the mass majority of people aren't paying attention to it. That's what they're gonna do. So it's interesting. And at the end of the day, I'm like, the funny part is they want to act like the it's all nobody else in that organization was doing anything. Nobody else in that organization was taking advantage of power and power trips and yeah, it just insert your thoughts there. It's like they want to act like wasn't nobody else doing it. She's just the one that got caught. She's just the one that got caught. So what they're gonna do. What they're gonna do. But keep it moving and keep they're gonna wring it out and they're gonna keep squeezing as much juice out of it as they can. And they're gonna continue to keep Vrabel at a distance and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm with you, man. He will. Unless Jalen Carter does something stupid. I don't see any reason why he doesn't get extended. Here's the what people got to remember. Jalen Carter is probably going to get a shit ton of money, right? So Howie has got to make sure all of his ducks are in a row before he makes that move. That's why he hasn't done it yet. He's got to make sure all his ducks are in a row because if and when you make that move, that you putting that much money on the table for somebody that's you kind of got some worries about it, but you don't want to let that talent go. He's not going to let that walk out the door. The kid's too good. The kid is too good, plain and simple, because if he goes somewhere else, he going to wreck shop. You already know that. So Howie's not stupid. And I tell people all the time, just let him work. Let him work. He knows what he's doing. He knows who his agent is. Him and his agent are friends. He's been dealing with that dude forever. He knows how the sausage is made. Leave Howie alone. He gonna get it done. I'm not worried about that in the least. You just got to be patient. And the problem is, once again, we feeding off of what everybody else said. When they gonna do it? When they gonna do it? When they gonna get Jalen Hurts and extend his contract and all this and all that? And it's like, let him do his thing when he need to do it. So, yeah, good point. Very good point. Very good point. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how if you've been watching the World Cup, Iran got goals disallowed in all 3 matches? Is that not odd to you? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. If Howie wanted to let him go, he would have been for Garrett if you really want to do it. JC is getting absolutely, man. I believe that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Especially when you see what LA just did. Jalen Carter and Jared Verse are the same player, in my opinion, as far as impact and their age. They're the same pair. I like Jared Verse. Every time Jared Verse has played us, he's balled out. Like, he ain't scared. He's a real one. I like that dude. I like the way he plays. Don't talk too much crap. Just get out there and do what you got to do. And Jalen Carter is the same way. Just as at a different position, Jared Verse is on the edge. Jalen Carter's in the middle. But it's just as impactful. Now, Jalen Carter talks a little bit too much trash for my opinion, but that's okay if you can rein it in. And for the most part, they have, and he has. And I told Tone this the other day. I don't know. In my opinion, Clint Hurt is a lock. Clint Hurt is not going anywhere. When Vic Fangio retires, he's literally handing the baton to Clint Hurt. If it does not happen like that, I'm going to be pissed. And a lot of people are going to be pissed. So, I don't know if Clint Hurt wants to be a head coach. I don't know. But as long as Clint Hurt is here, he's the guy that can rein in Jalen Carter. He's the guy that can do that. So, I saw that. They got to go to Mexico. I saw that. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Yes. Drew Rosenhaus has been around for a long time. And Drew Rosenhaus has had his reputation for a long time. However, Howie has been dealing with Drew Rosenhaus for a long time. They know each other. So they know how each other works. It hasn't been, I'm sure there's times where they tangled and butted heads, but that's the business. And they've been knowing each other and dealing with each other long enough. I know they're going to get something done. I know it. So Hurts has been a lock since he got the promotion a couple months back. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He ain't going nowhere. And I think he's the one that can keep Jalen Carter in line. And I think he's the one that Jalen Carter likes to play for. Let me say it like that. Vic Fangio is great, but there's always a coach that touches you, that reaches you. Coaches are like teachers. No different. Regardless of how good or how bad you were in school. Everybody has a teacher that they remember that for whatever reason, that teacher reached them. Whatever they did, however it happened, that you learn the most from that teacher for whatever reason. Coaches are the same way. How come this coach got the most out of you and that coach couldn't? Your talent was there. So what was it in the delivery and all of that type of stuff? That type of stuff matters. Relationships matter. And that's basically what that is. And that is why I always reinforce the point about Nick Sirianni. Everybody want to call him the goofball and hype going up against the people, the fans, and all of that type. And I'm like, that dude got something special, and nobody wants to give him credit for it. Nobody wants to give him credit for it because everybody want to hate on him. What does he do? Do we even need him? Yes, you do. And again, the people that say stuff like that, in my opinion, don't understand what they're talking about. And that goes from your casual fan that have never stepped on the field to people that used to play. All inclusive. Because some of the worst takes are from the people that used to play. And it's worse coming from them because they know better. And you still get it from people in high places. And that's what leads people to think, why they doing this? They trying to start an agenda. They following a narrative or something like that. Because you look at some of these people and some of the things that they say, and it makes no freaking sense. Why would you say that? Are you paying attention, or are you just reading the notes that the people shovel in front of your face? And that's what they usually do. That's what they usually do. I made that point back during the year when, in the middle of the year, they was having the struggles, and I saw Andrew Whitworth on Kay Adams' show. Now, Andrew Whitworth is a Hall of Famer, or will be a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. He knows the position, and he knows what the hell he's talking about. And that's the guy that went on national television and said, Saquon Barkley just needs to run harder. He just needs to tuck it and just hit the hole harder. And what? You saying that as a one of the best offensive linemen to ever do it, and that actually came out of your mouth. I know without a shadow of a doubt, you don't watch the Eagles football. You don't watch the Eagles play. For you to say something like that in good conscience, hell no. Like, come on, son. Don't do that. That's feeding into a narrative. I don't understand why he did it. But it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, bro, you watch offensive linemen, you watch tape. I know you do. Why would you do that? Trying to follow that narrative. Trying to follow that narrative, man. And it's yeah. I heard about it. I didn't see the tweet. I got my Twitter up on my other screen. If you send it to me, you put it in the chat or send it to me so I can look at it. I heard about it. A real Sagittarius. See, yeah, exactly, Art. Or even take it a step further and just keep it real. Cam Jurgens was hurt. Cam Jurgens is not sorry. Let me get that out of the way first. I like Cam Jurgens. I think Jason Kelce knocked it out of the park by finding him. Cam Jurgens is that dude when he's healthy. And the elephant in the room was that he wasn't. And that's why, if y'all go back, y'all know, this has been an ongoing thing for me. Y'all know how much I love Jeff Stoutland. I was in my feelings when Jeff Stoutland walked away. Big time. However, him not taking Cam Jurgens out when he was just not playing good because he couldn't move. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time until Cam Jurgens went on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast and told everybody what the deal was. But you still have to make the decision as a coach. And if you see one of your players is not getting it done, I don't care how gritty and tough that they are. That's not up for debate. What's up for debate is this dude getting the job done on the field? No. Then you need to find his replacement until he can heal up and be effective. That's your job as a coach. And as much as it hurts me to say, I don't think Stoutland did that, unless there's another reason. Was his backup hurt too? or there could be a bunch of different reasons. I just want one, but I don't have one. So what I got to do is go by what my eyes told me. What my eyes told me was Cam Jurgens looked like trash last year. Then I learned a little bit more. He had sciatica and a slipped disc. Goodness, I understand you tough, and to be able to tough that out is incredible. But however, you were not effective when you were on the field. So I have to look at Stoutland on that situation, because that's your level, that's your area of expertise. That's all I got to go on. I still love Stout. I still think he's Hall of Fame. I still believe he was untouchable. They should have they didn't want him to go. He wanted to walk away, and I understand that. But that just surprised me. Now, I'm expecting a lot more from Cam Jurgens this year because he's healthy. That's fair. You sent me a DM? Let me see. Did it come through yet? I don't see it. You said it on Twitter? Let me see. Uh-oh. Well, you got to log in so many different ways. Chat. I got it. Appreciate that. Thank you. I hope you're happy. You see the bands getting broken up. Former CJ Gardner-Johnson via damn, 3.8 million views. Good Lord. You can't tell me the Eagles ain't on folks' mind, man. You can't tell me that. I don't know what to make of that. Like, what does that mean? And also, you got to consider the source. You got to consider their perspective. CJ Gardner-Johnson is not one to mince words, especially when things are not going his way. But what does that mean? I hope you're happy. You see the bands getting broken up. So what did he do? You know what I'm saying? So that's too incomplete. What is that inferring? What are you insinuating? So now this is another problem, because now we got a former player, very cryptic. And this is another bad thing about social media. You can be cryptic and people will eat it up. And because he's cryptic now, you leave it to 3.8 million people to try to decipher what you mean, which means you got 3.8 million people got to make it up. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that means. It must mean something. He was in the locker room, so he must know something. But I know how people, at least in my experience, I know how some personalities view other personalities. How can I say this? How can I say this? CJ Gardner-Johnson, in my opinion, looks like somebody that's from the streets. He's been in the trenches. He ain't scared in certain situations. That's the dude that you want with you in that back alley. Saquon doesn't. CJ's from the city, Saquon from the suburbs. Now you understand what I'm saying. And people with that attitude, like CJ Gardner-Johnson, a lot of times don't look kindly on people that didn't grow up in that type of situation. I don't know if that's the case, but those are the vibes that I get. Because what does that mean? You see the bands getting broken up. What band? And then let me say this, and this is something I can speak to because I've seen it happen. I've had it happen to me. People get mad if you about that life. People get mad at you because you don't do dirt. People get mad at you because you don't do dirt. So it was 3 guys from my high school. 3 guys from my high school. Myself, Ron Carpenter, Alan DeGraffin Reed. Shout out to my homeboys, Cincinnati, Ohio, Princeton High School. Put your hand over your heart every time you say it. Me, Marcus Thomas, Ron Carpenter, Alan DeGraffin Reed. I played with the Eagles, bounced around and went a couple camps down in Jacksonville, played 3 seasons in the World League. Ron Carpenter played with the Bengals, the Rams, won a Super Bowl with the Rams with Dick Vermeil, played with the Vikings and the Jets. Allen played with the Bengals and the Chiefs, and I believe he was in Green Bay for a hot second. But we were the 3 people in my class from my high school, and we all made it to the pros. The funny thing is, we were the 3 most, we would not be on anybody's list to go that far. I was a late bloomer. I didn't start my freshman year in high school. I didn't start till my senior year. And then I wasn't even the featured offensive guy. Ron Carpenter was a receiver that busted his leg, busted his ankle, I think it was, or his knee, going into our senior year. So he missed half the season. And Alan DeGraffin Reed was our kicker, who was a soccer star and a track star. So football wasn't his main thing. He came on to be a kicker because he had a crazy leg, but he also had track speed. But he walked on at Ohio State. It was so fast at 6'1" or 6'2", however tall he was. You that tall and you running a low 4.3, he had track speed. Ron Carpenter went to Miami of Ohio, did his thing, become one of the best ever, and ended up winning the Super Bowl with the Rams. And then my story, I went to Eastern Kentucky, and I'm saying all that to say we were the most unassuming guys, and we would not be on anybody's bingo card to make it to the show. But we did. And people hated on us. And the words that I got was some people thought we didn't have any heart. I don't know what that means. I know what it means, but you get what I'm saying. So my point is that you got people, for whatever reason, that's going to hate on you because you make the most of your opportunities. And some people did that. We made the most of our opportunities. Period. He actually said a lot more than that, according to the report. Okay, what did he say? What did he say? That's my thing right now. It is too easy to get the receipts. Too easy to get the receipts. Like, send me a link, put it in the chat, something. I want to see what was said. I want it to be no misunderstandings. I'm tired of, as much as I love AJ Brown, I don't want to hear shit else cryptic. Make it plain. Yeah, most of y'all went to college. Most of these players went to college. Use your words. You ain't got to be cryptic. You ain't got to say what you mean and say it with your chest. They don't want to do that, though. They don't want to do that. I brought this up before. What was the guy? Was it Patrick Peterson? Is that the right name? The guy was a guy, he was one of the defensive captains in Arizona. And he ended up getting traded. And then after he got traded, he had all of this stuff to say about Kyler Murray. Not saying that it was wrong, but my point was, you were there for however many years you were there, and you looked in his face every day, and you didn't say nothing? You didn't address him like, hey, I'm a leader of this team. Like, dude, you got to, whatever the situation was. And then once he got away from the situation, now you got all of this stuff to say. Why don't you say something when you were in the midst, when you saw them every day? That's a difficult thing to do. Very difficult thing to do. But don't, now that you're gone, now you got all the commentary. For what? Like, what's the point of it? So yeah, if you see anything else that he may have said, send it to me. Send it to me. McNabb dealt with this too. I agree. I think the whole thing with how I saw it when all of this went down with Donovan and T.O., I think T.O. was wrong in wanting somebody to publicly come out and politic for his contract. I think he's wrong for that, because the unwritten rule at the pro level is you stay out of my pockets. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't do that. So I think that's, at least how I see it, that's what it looked like from the outside looking in. Now, you look at Ike and Hugh and some of them guys that actually played with them, they might have different ideas. But also, I acknowledge that I'm speaking and I'm looking from the outside looking in. So I don't have all of the information. But at the end of the day, on that specific point with McNabb and T.O., I don't think McNabb was all the way in the right. I don't think T.O. was all the way in the right. But McNabb said something that I always remember. I don't know if he said this on WIP or whenever he said it. This was after everything that happened. Donovan McNabb said, me and T.O. would have broke records together. Why would I want to get rid of him? And I was like, yeah, you're right. People, I don't think people, because he's got this reputation about him now, I don't think today's era of fan really understands how good Five was. Donovan was good. Donovan was good. Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, is not as good a quarterback as Donovan McNabb was. He's not. Jalen Hurts finds a way to win, and don't get it twisted. Jalen Hurts is an excellent quarterback, but if you're gonna go, if we talking about the optics and everything like that, I don't believe that Jalen was a better quarterback, physical with the traits and the arm, and they can both run. Donovan was a bit bigger. Donovan could still shake you, but Jason, I'm not going to disagree with that, but I can show you Well, here's the thing that Donovan did, and people, if you weren't there and you didn't watch him, this gets lost in context. Because I remember talking about this for about 3 years. Donovan and Jalen were the same type of quarterback. Donovan was a little bit physically bigger than Jalen Hurts. Donovan can shake you and like make you look silly. Donovan had moves and quicks and can spin on you. Donovan was doing all of that stuff, all of that Michael Vick stuff. Obviously not as good, but you understand what I'm saying. And then I want to say it was like his third year as a starter. He put on like 15 pounds of muscle. Like, he bulked up. And I remember him saying that he had to protect himself because he wanted to be a pocket passer. He wanted to be an in-the-pocket quarterback. So he has to be able to take the punishment. And I believe that year he threw a lot of balls in the dirt because he may have bulked up too much, too fast. So his balls were going low because he had too much muscle. And it took him a minute for his body to get used to that. And then again, this is how I'm seeing it. Other people could tell me I'm wrong, and my opinion is different. Their opinion is different. But he threw a lot of balls in the dirt. But ultimately, he was right. Ultimately, he was right. Ultimately, he became a better drop back quarterback, stand in the pocket, reading the defense, and delivering the ball on time, on target, deep balls, dime balls, in traffic, threading the needle. Donovan could do all of that. And I don't think he gets enough credit for making the decision to be a pocket passer. And how I look at it is like this, especially when you got athletic quarterbacks. It's like if you right-handed, if you play basketball, you'll understand what I'm saying. When you play basketball, what do they always tell you? Work on dribbling and shooting layups with your left hand, with your off hand. And that's what you do. Make 50 left-hand layups or whatever. And you work all day on your left hand. And then the minute you can go back to your right, you didn't miss a beat. You don't miss a thing. Ain't nothing changed. You're still as good as you ever were with your dominant hand. And I'm saying that what I mean is Jalen Hurts and Donovan McNabb will never lost the ability to get out of the pocket, run around people, and scramble and be that dynamic quarterback with their legs. That's the exit strategy. And what Donovan did, and I don't think Jalen has done yet, what Donovan did was Donovan made a decision that I'm going to be a pocket quarterback. I will always be able to get out of trouble. That talent is built in. I will always be able to get myself out of trouble, run around people, shake and bake, and make people miss. I'll always be able to do that. But you got to stand in that pocket and you got to force yourself to get with it, to read it and do it like a pocket passer. Donovan did that. And I think Donovan did that better than Jalen, in my opinion. That don't mean Jalen can't throw his deep balls are lovely, on point. He can throw dimes. He can thread the needle. But in my opinion, Donovan was doing it better. Now, it doesn't mean, because let's not forget, Jalen is still young, man. Jalen is still young. And he's, in my opinion, he still has another evolution of his game. Because, like I'm saying, he's not going to be able to run like that forever. And you're going to have to come to grips with that, because all it takes is one hit, or, you get popped in the knee, or you get tackled funny, and then you pop your hip, or anything like that can happen. And then what are you going to do? Well, you have to sit in the pocket and deliver the ball, because for whatever reason today, you can't run all over everywhere, but you can still sit in that pocket. And that is where people try to put Donovan, or not Donovan, but Jalen they try to pigeonhole him. That's what the Chiefs tried to do. That's what the Chiefs tried to do in 24. The Chiefs were like, if you stop Saquon, Donovan or Jalen ain't going to do nothing. Jalen can't beat you in the air. And what did he do? So by that standpoint, I think when you're looking at the talent, the physical talent, Donovan, I don't have no problem saying Donovan was a little bit better. But overall, what do you want your quarterback to do? You want him to get to the game and win the game. Jalen did that. Point, period, in the paragraph. So I have to put, if you want to look at as far as talent and the optics, and I've said this before about a lot of people, there's people just based on the optics and the checklist, the arm, the height, all of that type of stuff. Jalen's not going to be at the top of the list. This is exactly what Dan Orlovsky was saying. The check boxes, Donovan, or I keep forgetting, Jalen is not going to be at the top of the list if you're looking at the check boxes. Wins and losses are not a stat that you can measure. That is 100% correct. However, it matters. It matters a hell of a lot. And ultimately, that's the thing that puts you over the top in my book. in my book, do you know how bad people wanted what's his name? What's your boy out in San Francisco? Mr. Irrelevant. You know how many people wanted to see him fail and not win the Super Bowl? What's his name? Put that in the chat. What's my man's name? Um, what's his name in San Francisco, the quarterback? You know how many people were so glad that he failed because the fact that he failed, and it has to be. This is something that'll happen a little bit down the line because nobody wants him to succeed. Brock Purdy, thank you. Nobody wanted Brock Purdy to succeed because if Brock Purdy succeeds, everything that everybody's written and everything that everybody thinks that they know, and all of these experts and people that have been studying the game for umpteen years, all of that shit goes out the window. All of it goes out the window. Because you can't tell me he never had the talent. You can't tell me it wasn't there. You mean to tell me Brock Purdy did what he did, coming in as a backup, becoming the starter, and the Colts spent money on the boy from Florida who tapped out, Anthony Richardson? Or even if you think he's horrible, how much money did they pay Anthony Richardson that had all of the check boxes, the arm, the height, the speed, the strength, all of that? And Mr. Irrelevant came in and said, give me the shot. And what it all comes down to, and this is the difference that people get lost. This is what gets lost in the sauce. To me, Brock Purdy, what's a good Eagles comp for Brock Purdy? This is gonna best with you a little bit. Brock Purdy and Reed Blankenship. Brock Purdy and Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship became a starter his rookie year from Middle Tennessee, undrafted free agent. Why? He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. He may not even been the best. Why did Reed Blankenship end up starting for the Eagles his rookie year as an undrafted free agent at safety? Because Reed Blankenship picked up the offense or the defense faster than anybody else did. He knew where he was supposed to be. He could tell people where they were supposed to be. He could direct traffic. That's why he made the team. Not because he was the best safeties that ever came out of Middle Tennessee or no. He got into camp and he picked up everything like he was supposed to pick it up, and he knew where he was supposed to be. That's why. Brock Purdy was the same way. Picked up the offense, knew what he was supposed to do, played within himself. He didn't have a big arm and all that kind of stuff. You know what he did? He got the ball to his playmakers and he let them make plays. Thank God he had playmakers. Get the ball to Kittles. Get the ball to Ayuk. Well, not Ayuk anymore, but you understand what I'm saying. Get the ball to CMC. That's what he did. And how come somebody like that can do it, but you got somebody with all of the check marks and all of the things that everybody wants, they can't? That's also the benefit of Jalen Hurts. I came out with my list. All of the look at what was it? 45,000 yards, 45,000 passing yards in the last two seasons. 45,000 passing yards. Did not make it to the playoffs. So technically, that's 90,000 passing yards over the past two seasons that did not make it to the playoffs. And I always bring that up because everybody wants to be stat happy. And that's not how we win it. Jalen Hurts told you, I don't care how it looks as long as we win. And that is the mindset that everybody wants until they see it. Until they see it. Everybody want to, nah, you know what? I ain't even going to say that. Hey man, shout out to Middle Tennessee State, man. That's OVC. We used to play Eastern Kentucky used to play Middle Tennessee every year. Shout out to Middle Tennessee. I got love for they back then. We were all in the Ohio Valley Conference in the OVC. I got love for Middle Tennessee. I got love for anybody that comes from a smaller school, undrafted free agents, and they make the squad because that's how I did it. I wasn't drafted. I was playing with Herschel Walker. You know what I'm saying? And I was playing with somebody from Alabama and somebody from Notre Dame who went to the big schools, who had all of the hype, and I took their spot. So I got love for anybody that comes. Jalix Hunt is another one. Anybody that comes from a small school and they get the opportunity to show, like Cat Williams said, all a real G is looking for is an opportunity to show somebody they ain't bullshit. And that's what they do. So I wish we could have kept Blank. I wish they would have kept. We could have kept him, but I wish they would have. But they got to make room for Drew Makuba because they drafted him. They drafted him. What did Bart Scott say? Bart Scott irritates me. I don't really listen to Bart Scott because a lot of, you just got people that I ain't feeling like you're not right all the time. But tell me what he said. I didn't hear what he said. So, I mean, I got on this whole rant, and all we talking about is these goofy ass rankings that don't matter. The only thing that matters, is a ranking, a preseason ranking that would make sense to me. Let's rank the top healthiest teams going into camp. That makes sense to me. How many of your starters are still rehabbing? And list them from the healthiest down. That's a good ranking. That's something that matters. That's about as far as I can go with it. Everything else does not matter because you can't quantify any of this because they haven't stepped on the field yet. I don't know what A.J. Brown is going to do with the Patriots. He might light everybody up. I don't know what Drake May is going to do up there with a receiver like A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown might get up there and figure out that, you know what, maybe Jalen Hurts was pretty damn good. Maybe Drake May is not what you thought he was. Or maybe he gets a bajillion pass receiving yards and then you get blasted in the playoffs. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to play itself out one way or the other. It's going to play itself out. All I know is the grass might be green on the other side, but it still got to be mowed. So we going to see. He said basically Jalen has to be a force multiplier similar to Mahomes when he lost Tyreek Hill. I don't disagree. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't disagree with everything he says, but overall, like he irritates me. Because it's like he's one of them dudes, if you don't agree with his opinion, like he want to laugh at you. Like he want to pull that I know more than you card sometimes. And it's like, to me, that irritates me. That's just my opinion. So, but what is he saying? Like a lot of this stuff is water is wet. We know what the situation is. You know what you need. You know what you need. Don't tell me that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball across the middle because I've seen him do it. Don't tell me Jalen Hurts cannot be a pocket quarterback and cannot deliver the ball on time, on target, and throw all of the passes that everybody else. I've seen him do it. Wasn't nobody worried about this in 22 when we went to the Super Bowl the first time. Jalen Hurts was throwing the rock. A.J. Brown was lighting folks up. Smitty wasn't Smitty yet. He was good, but he wasn't what he is now because he was young. That's fair. But all of these stats, as good as A.J. Brown has been for the 4 years he was here in Philadelphia, somebody had to throw him the ball. That's all I'm saying. Somebody had to throw him the ball. And go look at A.J. Brown's stats when he was with Philadelphia. Because if it wasn't the case, would we be talking about what are we going to do to make up for that production and losing AJ Brown? If AJ Brown was productive, who got him the ball? That's all I'm saying. So, that's a good point, Ant. But Mahomes gets the benefit of the doubt. He'll always get the benefit of the doubt because he's Mahomes and he's got 3 Super Bowls and all of that type of stuff. So that part. So, but it's it is what it is. Get off the rankings, man. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything at all. Just stuff to talk about. Apparently that and Saquon Barkley. 3.8 million views. Good Lord. So, all right, y'all. I'm about to land this plane. I'm hungry now. I want to cook breakfast. I got some sausage from the Amish market. Gonna scramble some eggs, keep it simple. Wife probably still asleep. But all right, I'm gonna get up out of here. Hopefully, I'll have some drone footage up for y'all tonight. It was fun doing that, trying to do some new things. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And I'm sure there'll be new news on Monday. Holla at y'all later. Peace. Go Birds.
Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Last year is done, new story getting told. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. They say he's uncoachable, can't get right. AJ in New England, now that deal is done. Lemons got the green light, pick that number 1. Benny in the coordinator, put your fears to rest. Patello playing checkers, why this dude is playing chess. AJ finally traded and the hype train's broke. Rabel's back to coaching and Rosini's catching smoke. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Ain't no time for fakers cause your boy is bleeding green. Sources leaking stories but you know it's all cap. Coach Marcus on the mic and he's shooting all facts. Search trending topics, information moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the